Hey guys. Well, um, what I was thinking maybe we should try, which is try it and see what happens. And Kevin, you might even be able to do this, is just uh, take like one move and I'll put it on a loop. I don't know how well this will work. We'll try it. We'll put it on a loop and just run it over and over again. So I can loop them, 5 times or 10 times or whatever. I think trying to do too much of the form, there's too much going on. It's too much for me anyway. Um, so I think just looping like the first move, and we'll do that for a while, and then we'll loop the second move, and just try that over and over. And by doing it over and over, it may give us a chance to actually grab some part of what he's doing. And again, I'm just talking about for me. I'm really interested in doing this. I think um, he's an example of someone who has truly worked through the form. There are other folks who have worked through other forms, but frankly, it's pretty rare. Um, so when you've got a model like that, you can just gain so much by kind of following their actions and what Susan was saying yesterday, the rhythm, because it's the real meaning of it is kind of hidden in the rhythm, and just kind of see what the guy's doing. So I'll loop the first move, the classic first move, which is really short, and I'm going to do it for 10 times. Now, the problem with it is we really should have a little time in between. Do it once, take 10 seconds, do it again. Well, I don't know how to put that 10 seconds in there. So I think what I'm going to do personally is I'm going to loop this for 10 times. Now the first move is very short, but I'm going to loop this for 10 times. So I'm going to do the first one and then I'm going to watch the second one. I'm going to do the third one and I'm going to watch the fourth one. And just like that, give myself a little break. You guys can try anything you want, but I would suggest that might be a way to approach it and do it. Any comments? Okay, let's try it. Okay, I'm just watching this one and something that see look at his eyes, look at his vision. I get the feeling that he's saying something to himself right now. I think he's thanking Master Feng because this performance was a tribute to Master Feng after he passed away. So he sinks and then he sinks again. That was very interesting. He's good. He's very, very good. Um, so, what did you notice, Susan? What did you notice?
Um, Well, of course, everything just had to slow down, and I felt like I was much more internally focused.
Yes.
And one of the things I realized was I was really paying attention to his hands this time and trying to recreate that for myself. And I realized that one of the things that I had always sort of zeroed in on was the position of my hands.
Right.
And this time, I was just kind of trying to sort of follow along with how he was using his hands, and it's
Right.
very different. It's just much more relaxed and
Yes.
softer, and
Yes.
so it kind of forced me to be more internal
Yeah.
because I wasn't thinking about my hand should be like this or should
Yeah.
be like this, you know.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. It was much less yang and much
Mm. Oh yeah.
yin, but there was a little yang in there. There was some movement in the hands, but I
Yeah. Yeah.
totally agree with you. Yeah, Kevin.
Well, I was looking at the pung in his wrists and then how it would roll out to the end of his hand.
Yeah.
Um, Another aspect related to that is his use of width. It's a little hard to see because of his clothing, but he did not put his hands down like this. All right, he would put his hands down and they would have some width, not like this, but like this. And he's got so much clothing on that you sort of really don't see it, but it was when you follow the movement, it was really obvious, and that's a line in his algorithm that is not in my algorithm. So that was very interesting to feel that. Ran, what did you notice?
Um, the yin and yang part that you mentioned, I noticed it pretty clearly. I think that he's like there's a bit of yang, yin, 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 yang, yin, 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 yin. And
Yeah,
you can see it in his hands. You can see it everywhere. That he's like, no, like, and definitely there's much more yin than yang. But I mean, it's interesting to see those transitions between them.
oh, he's definitely, they're definitely alternating back and forth. It's just very soft. um, I learned from Zhang and Feng in particular is very yang. Right? He doesn't do it like that. It's much more right. Boom, much more direct. It's not that one's right and one's wrong, but this guy has got his own system down. That's what's important. It's very thorough. So, what about looking at what he was doing and looking at how he was expressing flow? I know that's kind of a vague. What's flow? It's kind of vague, but did you notice anything with that? Kevin, did you notice anything?
Well, I was reading something earlier today, and they're talking about trying to describe the difference between, various internal martial arts. And they say that Chen style is mostly like an ocean. And that's what you notice with him. It's not like you're going with the current. Yang style is more like going with the current in a river. This is more like an ocean, out and back, and
It's very very rhythmic. Yeah, I agree. One of the things that I noticed, and maybe I noticed it because of a contrast with myself, and this is really the value of doing this, is you see yourself in silhouette in contrast to what you're seeing this guy do. Is how well coordinated, that's not really quite the right word, but how well coordinated his outer movement was with his inner movement. He was not rushing ahead with his outer movement. And I always do that. I mean, it's really kind of a signature thing in what I do. He was, it's so strong in what he does that it's very easy to miss it, to just follow your own rut and kind of miss what he's doing. But it was very interesting. Right? He comes back in. He's letting this stuff inside settle and then settle again. And his hand's eye, his mind, his hands, his eyes are not rushing ahead of that. They're waiting for that to happen. There's a line in the Tao Te Ching. Who can wait while the mud settles? They're talking about a little forest stream or a pond. Who can wait while the mud settles? And for, and by implication, for the water to become clear. So I mentioned yesterday, one of the qualities that his form has for me is its clarity. It's like clear water. And maybe the secret to that is he's willing to wait. Very, very, it's slower and simpler than I'm used to doing. I've got to rein my horses in, all right? But even reining your horses in, that's not it either. It's after they're reined. It's once they're the feeling I got is very, very Zen, because Zen is about being in the present moment. That's it. That's Zen. That's my understanding of Zen. And you think, well, that must be the easiest thing in the world. Man, it's not. It's not for me. I'm always zooming around the present moment. I'm zooming ahead. I'm way behind. I'm here. I'm there. But to do what he was doing now, watching him do this was just an impression I had. This was a very formal presentation. I mean, he's got his. I've seen him in other things where he's not dressed like that. He's just got very simple clothes on, etc. So he dressed up in his formal Zen outfit to do this tribute to Master Feng on his passing. And I think he's trying to do it very carefully. He's trying to work at a certain level for a certain reason. And I got this impression he's got a classic Oriental face. It's not demonstrative. He's not making all kinds of funny faces. It's very, very calm. So for me, I have to watch that for a while before I see things in his face, because they're so subtle. But I felt like at a certain point, he was smiling. Now, he wasn't smiling, but he was smiling. So what is it? He's not really smiling with his mouth. It's so subtle. And I got the impression that he felt like he was being watched. and he's smiling in connection with the audience, so to speak. It's very easy to miss it because it's so subtle. But I don't know. Maybe I'm supplying it, but I think I perceived it. Any other comments? Okay, that was just the first move. For me personally, I feel like I would need to do that every day for a week before I really started to. I mean, I barely got to the place where I was kind of copying him. And even that was a little bit on the outside trying to copy this guy. And of course, that's not what you wanted, where you want to end up. Where you want to end up is copying him from the inside. And that's a process of gradually internalizing the rhythm of what he was doing. Let's just use the word rhythm. And I sort of caught some of it, sort of missed some of it, and I would see it go by. Sort of was able to copy it, but I sort of was on the outside looking in, trying to copy it. I wasn't really on the inside actually copying it or actually doing it. Well, what you want to do is get to the place where you're actually doing it. Not from cues from the outside, but cues from the inside, because that's what he was doing. He was listening to himself. He was listening to all this inside, and he was letting it come down. That's what you're supposed to do. But it sounds so easy, but it's actually very difficult to do. Yeah, Kevin.
Well, I'm finding that, because I only can do a little bit at a time, I'm looking for the relaxed part. And part of that, if you don't have an internal core that you can rely on, which is what I'm getting now, you can never feel that sync. Your hips, quad, everything won't open up in the right position. Your back won't be aligned correctly to where you can actually feel all the muscles in your body just draping around that spine.
Kevin, this is totally intuitive, so take it with a grain of salt. But what I hear you saying is when you have issues, problems, the way we deal with it is to stiffen up. I'm stiffening. That's going to hold me up. And it's not necessarily a huge deal, but it's huge enough that you can't see and feel the stuff that he's doing. And I think that's absolutely true. The whole question of being in the moment or not being in the moment has to do with that too. When you're not in the moment, you will stiffen up. Why? It's got to do with grounding. Now, this is all intuitive on my part, but I feel that so strongly. He was really well grounded. Why was he so well grounded? Because he's right here. He's not somewhere else. He's here. And the ground is here. It's not somewhere else. So he was in the present moment, in the here and now. And when your psyche or your spirit is disturbed, is running around a little bit, you are a little bit ungrounded. And that will stiffen you up for exactly the same reason that Kevin was talking about, because it becomes an issue. And I'm going to respond to that issue by stiffening up a little bit, by a little body armor, and by stiffening my bones and muscles a little bit. And remember Master Zhang's constant refrain: Song, Song, relax, relax. I'm sure a guy like the guy we're following, as well as Master Zhang and Master Feng, would look at all of us and see people who were quite stiff. You know? And it really takes something to relax. Let's try. We've only got 15 minutes left, so I'm not sure how far we're going to get. But let's try the second move. It's a much larger move. It's quite a large, complicated move. I guess we'd just go ahead and try the whole thing. We won't get 10 times in, but let's try it, like, say, 4 times. And then see what we think. Just was not enough time to really get into that. My God, there was so much going on in one circle. It's like, whoa. Um, could you guys, we're doing 2 classes during the week, the 8 o'clock in the morning class and the 9 o'clock in the morning class. And Wednesdays at 9 o'clock is kind of open. Could you guys meet again on Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning with Pacific time? I was thinking about, about adding an extra class in, and then we don't have to wait a whole week to get back into the rhythm of this.
I think I can. Let me take a look.
Rand, what about you?
Probably can.
Kevin? Yeah.
Yeah, that's my Lee takes the dogs for the morning walk on Wednesday, so
Okay.
I can do it.
All right. I mean, to get what this guy is doing. I mean, this is actually true for anybody. If we were trying to follow Master Feng, you would have a very similar problem. But this guy's even worse. In the sense there's so much going on that it's even to see everything that's going on. Let me tell you guys a trick I learned a long time ago, and most people don't want to do this trick because it takes some time. When I would watch videos of Master Feng, and I'm thinking particularly of the 71, I would usually not watch it all the way through. So the 71 is like about 20 minutes long. It's a relatively fast form, faster than this. I would pick a section of 2 or 3 moves, and this was in the primitive days when things were on these things called cassettes, on tapes, and I had a clicker, and you couldn't just set a looper like I've got for this. You had to do it physically with your clicker, and I would just watch that one little section over and over and over. And my experience was you don't really see what's going on until you've watched it 10 or 15 times in a row. And then something in your brain happens and you begin to clarify what is going on. Oh, okay, this is what's happening. And then you can start to see it and start to feel it. But if you just watch it once or twice, Susan, it's like everything else, it's like the Rachmaninoff Third Piano Concerto. You can't hear that music the first time you listen to it. It's like rain hitting dry ground. It just runs off the top. It has to soak in a little bit. So you need a little rain every day to kind of dampen the ground so that the rain actually soaks into the ground. So you have to listen to the Rachmaninoff, 50 times before you really start to hear it. Maybe 100 times. And it's 43 minutes long, so that's a lot of time. And I think the same is true with this. We're going to have to watch this guy over and over and over slowly, not try to hurry this, just do it very slowly. I was watching him and going to set the time, and we were going to do the whole second move. No, it's too much. I can't do the whole second. I wouldn't be able to hold it in my mind. So just 2 circles, one in one direction, one in another. That's enough. Any thoughts?
After 10 to 15 years of watching this stuff, I'm starting to be able to see what's going on.
Exactly. When I was with Master Zhang, I would watch his belly. And he's usually just in a t-shirt or something at the beginning, so you really, you could see what was happening. And most people didn't watch his belly. They watched his hands, or else they watched the squirrels or the pigeons running around doing squirrel and pigeon stuff, right? They didn't pay attention. You had to watch and watch and watch and watch and watch in order just to be able to see what was going on. Master Feng used to say all the time, and actually Zhang said this too, if I don't show you, you won't see it. Meaning if I don't slow down and exaggerate this a little bit, you won't see what's going on. It's too subtle. You don't have the eyes for it yet. So tell me, guys, is this okay? Is going in this direction? Yes? Okay, good. Good. I like this guy. I think he truly is a master. Yeah, Kevin?
A slight digression before you guys bail out. Susan and Rand, I'm going to send you a PDF of Chen Shi's Chen Bible. Because there's a lot of these energy things, the spiral action and all the stuff that we're seeing is explained. I've been through it twice. I needed, many more times, but I don't know if you've ever seen it. So I'll send you a PDF.
Are you talking about this one, Kevin? The illustrated canon?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, there are several good PDFs online. So yeah, send them on. This is a massive book, and the whole front of it is theory and diagrams and all kinds of stuff. So you could spend a long time looking at this. Um, but you can also focus in on very specific things. And Master Zhang, my teacher, had an old copy, and it was completely filled with his notes in pencil. Every margin, inner line in between, it was. And we'd be really interested in it, and he would go, no, 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 not important, not important, not important for you. And what he meant was, look, you're just a beginner. You're not gonna be able to understand any of the stuff in here. Kevin's been um, working on this for 15 years now, so now you can begin to appreciate some of the stuff in there, at least a little bit. Okay, guys, let's meet again on Wednesday at 9 o'clock, and we'll work on the second move. Maybe just the first half of the second move, huh? Okay, and we'll review the first move too. Have a good day. We'll see you.